Aries, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. So glad you could make it, and I hope you are all doing very well. Now, Aries, this is going to be a monthly money and finances read, but also these messages will apply for whenever you are viewing this video. Now, Aries, please know if you would like to donate to the channel and receive an accurate palm reading or dream interpretation, that's available on my about page of my channel. There's details and information about that, but also you can find it on my community page as well. And there's a brief video that's available to take a look at. Any questions or inquiries, don't hesitate to email me. I'll be happy to hear from you. So some of you are going to be dealing with a Virgo. Aries, let's get into this. So when I was meditating on your energy, okay, your animal spirit, which is your energy and attitude that you're going to take up towards your money and finances, is the sea serpent. I like this. So with the sea serpent here, this is you focusing on healing your money and finances here. This is also speaking to that second chakra, which is your sacral chakra. This is you focusing on your creativity, your feelings, okay? This is also you having a very creative imagination. I also feel this is you being very energetic, okay? This may be you rising up from ashes like a phoenix. But this is you having that sea serpent energy. This is the energy of your spirit. So this is you operating from your spirit with this sea serpent here. Focusing on healing your money and finances. And you healing from your money and finances, circumstances, and situation. Okay? So this is very nice energy here. This is you being very creative. Using your sacral chakra to be very imaginative. This is you addressing and healing any guilt, regret, or remorse you may have had with or are experiencing with money. This is you being patient with yourself, or just being patient in general. Nurturing your money, being more reliable, okay? This is you being able to stay loyal to yourself, but also, being able to experience loyalty from others by loved ones, okay? And receiving support. This is also you making sure that you are only keeping a loyal camp, right? Of tightening up your circle as your money is concerned, and with who you can turn to or how you're going to be of a support to others, because perhaps you may find that you have been supportive in a way that is not helping you and is not working out, but someone may be taken for granted. Or this is you being able to heal your money and finances because of you having a loyal support. So take what resonates. Nonetheless, this is you focusing on how you're going to heal your money, or you are healing your money and finances. So let's see what something positive is happening with your money. What's the positive aspect around your money and finances? And for Aries, Spirit, what is the positive aspect for Aries money and finances, please? Positive aspect. Positive aspect for Libra. Oh, now I'm hearing Libra. So you might be dealing with the Libra too. Well, I did say you might be tightening up your squad, who you can depend and rely on, or how you show up or need to stand back. The healing is the goal of your soul. Thank you, Spirit. Ooh, so something positive that's going to happen with money and finances is your thoughts. Your thoughts about money. Okay? I feel that this is you. Again, this is speaking to your creativity, okay? Being able to tap into, you know, your soul, what your soul wants here, what needs to happen from, and doing it from a place from your soul, right? This is also the energy of 16. And so for me, this is also talking about a tower moment. This may be you getting an epiphany. This may be you making drastic changes. This is you taking action. This is you perhaps doing something suddenly here. This is you perhaps thinking of how to reshape your foundation or tear things down in order to build them back up. That 16 breaking down to the 7 is also the Chariot. This is about overcoming obstacles, moving forward, taking control, having will and fortitude, going with the flow, steering. This is you being very thoughtful, very, very mindful about your money and finances and what needs to happen with it. This is you being driven. For some of you, you're moving away from being stubborn. But there's a focus on you protecting your money. A focus on having victory. This is you perhaps focused on being more precise with your aims as well. And so these are things that are positive that's going to be happening. And it's all starting in your mind, your thoughts, your plans, your ideas. Coming up with creative ideas, good ideas that allow for healing or the ability to start to heal your money and finances here. Now, you could have someone you're thinking about that is loyal to you, or you're thinking about who you need to be loyal to, or who you should no longer be loyal to in that regard. So let's see what is the negative aspect around your money, Aries. But it looks like you're going to be shaking things up or firming things up. This is you having realizations. What is the negative aspect for Aries and their money? This is for all Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter sign placement. Spirit, what's the negative aspect? Okay, here we go. Ooh, the negative aspect is disputation. It's a 41 breaking down to a 5. So this is about difficulties with change, okay? Also with it breaking down to a 5, you could be dealing with focusing on your commitments and what needs to change around commitments. You may be focusing on what you want to establish, or you're looking for more information. You may be getting more understanding or having trouble getting understanding. But there is disputation. This is a focus on you having challenges with experiencing disputes and arguments here. With others, perhaps even with yourself. We do have a sword here, so this is about that communication. Okay, this may be challenges with getting a breakthrough or cutting. There may be challenges on what you may need to cut out. This may be you having challenges on conforming to something. The 5 is, for me, is talking about that Hierophant energy or High Priest energy. So there may be a collective you may be focusing on the collective, collectively, the others who could be involved. You may be having challenges with integrity. Again, that tightening up of the circle of people that you're dealing with. You may be having trouble creating or dealing with a belief system or getting guidance here. There may be issues around stability, maybe even with whom you can trust. There could be something to do with rules and institutional and agency, or challenges with getting help from a higher power, or challenges with your ability to find a higher power around a situation. But definitely there's matters around relationships too. So let's see more about this disputation that's going on here for you, Aries. Tell me more. But I see you being more mindful and thoughtful here. And that's going to be positive for you, Aries. I even see you getting some epiphanies. And you may be getting an epiphany about someone in particular. Thank you, Spirit. The fox. This is what is some additional information about the negative aspect concerning your money, Aries, and you have the fox. So you may be dealing with a manipulator, or you may be having issues with the way you're being a manipulator. It feels more like you're dealing with a manipulator here. You may be having issues with your ability to stay alert and aware. There may be issues with being cunning and crafty. For some of you, there's going to be issues around deception, or there can be issues with the ability to be clever or be smart about things. There can be some issues around entrepreneurship, a business that you're starting, or a business that you've started. I do see you perhaps having challenges with how to persevere, or you're struggling to endure something. There may be issues with your ability to guard yourself from something or someone. And with the 14 here, this is also talking about temperance. This is there may be issues philosophically even. There may be issues around purpose. There may be issues about what you reflect upon. Issues with how to balance things. Issues on how to recalibrate. With temperance here, or with the energy of temperance, I should say, this is about perhaps you having issues with being able to establish peace or maintain peace or keep the peace. Issues with being able to do things in if I could just talk, moderation, if you will. So you want to be mindful of this. Be careful of a manipulator, or you being the manipulator in a situation. But I feel like this is you becoming aware, or needing to be aware of being manipulated here. Also, things can go either way. There's the ability for things to go either way here if you're not careful, or you want to be mindful of doing anything in extreme ways. You want to make sure you're doing enough, making sure you are balancing things, because how can I say, you don't want to do too much or not enough either. You may have challenges with someone else not doing enough, or that you're finding or someone that you're dealing with where your money is influenced or is connected or involved, there's some sort of disagreement. You could be changing your mind about something. You may be having issues with the best way to go about doing something. But stay mindful. You have like mindfulness here, and then you have thoughts here, okay? And be mindful of your thoughts as well. But the positive thing here is your thoughts. Your thoughts are going to play a positive role around your money and finances here. I do see you getting epiphanies around the things that have been a struggle with you being able to balance or adjust. Be careful of deception or lies from others or coming from you. So let's see what are the external factors and influence around your money, Aries. I'm going to pull 4 cards. We're going to see what is the external factors and or influences around Aries money and finances, please. I also see that thinking things through will be best as well. You do have the Emperor that just turned over, and Strength. 2 major arcanas. This is you, Aries. And Strength, you could be dealing with a Leo. You could be dealing with another Aries. Okay, but this is you focusing on having power and authority or taking control. Focusing on what you're building, or you may have an ambition or seeing how to take the lead or be the leader. This is you seeing how to structure and organize and create. With Strength, this is you focusing on having the power to balance things and doing everything you can here. For some of you, you could be dealing with authority and experiencing some sort of resistance. Okay? But I see you focusing on how to be resilient. This may be you focusing on how to be more disciplined concerning your money. Okay, Aries. Let's take a look. Thank you, Spirit. Let's see if those 2 cards come back out for you too. Overall, you have the Fool. Somebody else had this. I think it might have been Virgo. Yeah, I think it was Virgo. So you may have Virgo placement. If so, you might want to take a look and see if the messages resonate there for you. With the Fool, this is your energy overall. And this is overall what's going on around your money too. So this is you focusing on freedom. Freedom, risk-taking. With the King of Wands, achievement. Reaching your goals, achieving your goals, having mastery of action and creativity. This is also you being bold. Okay? This is perhaps that carefree energy here too. Be careful of inexperience with the Fool here. This is you focusing on having a new beginning, a new start, a fresh start. This Fool energy is also talking about you focusing on renewal, being bold. Be careful about rebelliousness. Perhaps you may need to rebel. This may be you focusing on having more trust. This may even be you going on an adventure or being adventurous here. This also may be you being more careful. Thank you, Spirit. Wow. Aries, what is happening here? You have a all air energy. You have the Knight of Swords. You have the Four of Swords. You have the Ten of Swords. You have the Tower. Now, with the Tower present, there can be a Scorpio involved. But this again speaks to all your thoughts that you are having here about your money. This is all about your thoughts, your mindfulness, your thinking habits. With the Knight of Swords, this is you asserting yourself, having forceful intent here, taking action. This is a doing energy with the Knight of Swords. Now, there could be some information coming in, or you may be rushing to communicate, but be careful. You want to be diplomatic, okay? And you want to be conscious of your planning. This could be you being opinionated. You could be dealing with someone who's coming at you with the Knight of Swords energy, with that disputation here, where you could be experiencing some sort of argument or disagreement here. There may even be a little competition. The Knight of Swords is saying there's a need for you to be smart about things, though, and be mindful of what you say. But there's a need for you to assert yourself here. This Knight of Swords energy that's present, this is also perhaps you taking responsibility to address issues. Be careful about being impulsive, though. This may be you focusing on how to redirect. Also, this Knight of Swords energy is an energy of haste. So you may be needing to act quickly. This may be you coming up with a strategy, but be careful about being misled. Be careful about how it's possible you could mislead, but be careful about being misled too. Know that with the Knight of Swords, there's consequences to your actions. You may be looking to see what you can cut out, but this is quick moving energy. This is also quick thinking. Thinking on your feet. And then you got the Four of Swords here. Now, the Four of Swords usually talks about, taking a step back, contemplating, meditating on things. I do think you are contemplating and meditating on things, but if you take a look, this is someone who's restless. Okay? So I do see you moving away from something that is causing you restlessness, or trying to figure out how to bring something to rest that's bothering you, or that you keep thinking about. For some of you, you are going to have a conversation, or somebody's going to have a conversation with you. You do have the Ten of Swords. I like this Ten of Swords showing up here in your reading for your money, Aries, because this is saying that with all the difficulties you're experiencing, for some of you, I'm picking up, it's possible you could be experiencing some sort of betrayal or backstabbing here happening, or that has happened, but everything will be fine. There's a new dawn happening here, okay? With whatever issues around money where you have experienced or were experiencing or will be experiencing some sort of collapse with money or ruin or difficulties or having mental anguish about, everything is going to be fine, because you're going to figure this out. with your thoughts and figure out how to bring this to an end. And then you have the Tower. So this is that abrupt change, right? For some of you, there is some disruptions here with what you're trying to do. There can be an uncomfortable, unwanted event occurring. There may be some adversities here. But I do see you having some sort of realization. For some of you, there is a focus on home. The Tower is also saying, you know, there may be a faulty foundation financially. Okay? But I do see you making changes, even with the unexpected. Some of you, this is you actually tearing something down. To build it back up. I just want to pull one more card on this Tower energy here. For some of you, something unexpected does happen. For some of you, this is some sort of upheaval. On that Tower, you do have the Page of Swords. So I feel like for some of you, there's some communication comes in that changes everything. I also feel with this Page of Swords, this is you seeing how to protect and avoid a disaster here. I see this as you gaining an epiphany, coming up with new perspectives. These are those thoughts, those ideas, right? This is also you coming to a realization here. This is you focusing on how to be smart about things. Now, there is a very small portion of you, very small. This may even just only be one or two of you, where this is you being foolish about something connected with money that you're gung-ho about, that you now experience, that you see some drama, or you take action to assert yourself to cut it out or to address it, and there's some consequences coming in around that is creating restlessness for you, or what you thought was, you know, something you could bring to rest. That's not what's happening here. Now, I do see that you will be focusing on trying to address it and bring it to an end and make sure that everything is going to be fine. I do feel that you do a lot of thinking on this, and that is positive. But something crumbles or folds. And that may be because there's some new information that's coming in, or there's a crack in the foundation here, or something unexpected comes in. And this could be that dispute. I also feel like there's a need for you to be mindful of, you know, the power of, you know, your thoughts. What are you wielding here in your thoughts? Because your thoughts are powerful. Your plans, your strategy is going to be powerful, but to what end? How are you making use of that? Because again, you have the fox here. Are you being the manipulator or being manipulated? Are you trying to get away with something? But that's just for a very small number of you, where there's some plan where you had a lot of good thought, you have a lot of good thoughts around it, but something comes crashing down. Okay? Because you may not have had all the information, or you were impulsive, or the Page of Swords is, you know, this can be all talk and no action too. or there's a harsh truth that's coming in to your plans. But for many of you, this is you focusing on healing that, or, you know, just focusing on healing in general where things have been catastrophic or damaging or difficult. Or this is just you having that epiphany, that realization, because you're able to stay alert, or you get a new perspective here. Or you come up with a new plan. For a lot of you, this is that new plan after other plans go amok. For that small percentage of you where this is that upheaval due to a faulty foundation, or you're trusting someone else in the thoughts that they have, or due to misguided beliefs. Be careful, because things can be really damaging here, and then you're still focusing on how to heal. But for those of you that this is not the case, this is you being able to avoid damaging circumstances or heal the adversities because of what you realize or come up with. So let's see what a message is from Spirit. Also, you know, you have all swords. So there is, you know, for some of you, there's problems with a practical approach or staying grounded here. And with water energy, there may be issues around creativity, or, you know, you may be only... There's a lack of feelings and emotions. For some of you, you may not have almost say you may not have feelings. For some of you, you may not have anyone to turn to, or there may be issues around creativity. And, you know, there's no fire here. So you may not be so motivated or as motivated, or you may be having trouble having motivation. But you still are focusing on how to heal. What's the message from Spirit for Aries? What's the message about money? Thank you. See? There it is. Thank you. Remember I said choose your words carefully? There's a need to choose your words carefully. Be careful about what you say. Be careful about what you write. Be careful about documentation. You know, on your part, or, you know, what's involved here. What are the words that are being exchanged here? What are the documents that's being exchanged here, given or received? You know, look at the fine print. Look on the dotted line. Make sure you dot all your I's and cross all your T's here. But be careful what you say. What you say could be damaging. Perhaps what you don't say could be damaging. But there's a need to choose your words carefully here, because you have all swords energy. So there's a lot of communication here. There's a lot of thought here. And this here, it can be reckless energy here. Okay? Be careful of your thoughts. Be careful of being rebellious and naive here. Be careful of inexperience. Be careful of your actions. So let's see what's some additional guidance here for you. What's some additional guidance for Aries? And with the sea serpent, you got all this blue. Communication is key here. What you say is key. What you say or don't say is key here. Oh, okay. There you go. No more complaining. Is that what this is for you, Aries? No more complaining. You're going to stop complaining, or you're going to need to stop complaining. There's a need to be mindful of, what you're speaking over your money situation circumstances here. You have no more complaining. Complaints are affirmations of victimhood, which is never true spiritually. Take back your God-given power by affirming that you have an abundance of choices and freedom. With your increased confidence and assertiveness, watch these positive affirmations blossom into reality. Okay? For some of you, this is about you also moving away from the people that are creating problems for you or adding to the problem. And make sure you're not that person doing that, or you are turning a new leaf in that regard. So these are your messages. I do see your thoughts are going to play a big factor here, but so will your words. Okay? What you're thinking about, that's the positive aspect, is how you're going to think about this, how you're going to plan about this. But choose your words carefully. Are you speaking life over your circumstances or not? And who you fucking with, are they speaking life or not? Aries, careful about betrayal and backstabbing, coming from you or coming from someplace else. Okay? When I do see you focusing on making sure everything is fine, or there's a new dawn happening here, and it's going to come with how you speak. So what are you saying? Are you going to create change here for the good? Or are you going to be disruptive to your circumstances? It's up to you. It all starts with your thoughts and what's going on in your mind. And also maybe who you're talking to. I hope these messages help. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Bye, Aries.